All right, hey there, everybody. Chris Franks with Texas West Capital, running just a few minutes behind this morning. It is just a bit after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Tuesday, the 24th of May, 2022, in a somewhat overcast, burny morning here. We've got rain and stuff down in this area is coming in, so hopefully the really bad weather will stay away, but it is spring in Texas, so we'll see what happens with there. Good to have y'all checking in with me. Just to give you a heads up, I won't be here. I won't do the Friday live stream. I'm going to take a 4-day weekend, just one more than than what we usually do, right? But those of you that know me, you know that I rarely ever take any extra days. So I'm going to go ahead and do a 4-day weekend. Got some stuff to do, family and stuff like that. So I'll see you guys back on Tuesday of next week. All right. Let me see here. Man, oh man, we got, a lot of stuff going on this week. Arthur Hayes over there at BitMEX, he got away without jail time. Wasn't really expected to get jail time. He violated the Banking Secrecy Act by knowingly allowing U.S. users to use the BitMEX platform without the KYC and all that kind of stuff. But that type of thing rarely ever leads to jail time. He did. I think he got something like 6 months of home detention or something. And then after that, he's got a couple of years of probation, of which he's going to be allowed to serve outside the U.S., apparently. I think it's in Singapore or wherever he was living. So, yeah. But for the 6 months, anyway, he's got to be stateside here at some location stateside. But, gosh, man, if you want to make money and get slapped on the wrist, I guess that's the way to do it, right? He's made well over $100 million from BitMEX there, and that's really all he got. It is what it is. There's this big thing that says, the worst crimes in the U.S. are the crimes against the state, right? Things like treason and whatnot. The rest of it, kind of if there. But anyway, so he's got out of that. That's done there. What we get? We see something like $10 billion in redemptions from Tether. Somebody here was asking about a $35 billion Tether had tied up in Evergrande bonds, which is now defaulted. I haven't seen that, honestly. I have not seen that. I know that last year, Q3 or whatever, Tether said that they did not hold any Evergrande paper at all, anything like that. We know that Tether, their commercial paper, that's dropped. They've gotten out of some of that here this first couple of quarters of this year. So the amount of commercial paper they hold is dropped. I like that. You guys know when they first did their report that they were required to do. I made a big deal about how basically 50% of what they were holding there was in commercial paper, and we don't know what grade it is. Again. The better the paper, the more likely you are to be able to redeem it. But worse off paper means you can't redeem it, right? So if you're a stable coin, right, and you're backed by paper, a significant amount of paper, and you can't get dollar for dollar on that paper, you're getting less than a dollar. Guess what? You don't have that kind of reserve sitting there. But they just released their attestation report here recently, March 31st, and they said that they had, decreased how much commercial paper they were holding, and then significantly more since April 1st, which will be reflected in the next one coming up here, next month or whatever, I guess it is. So, that'll be interesting. Let me see here. Yeah, so, if we're looking at that, obviously we don't know for sure, right? They keep tight wraps on it. They don't want people to know, and the government isn't forcing them to tell them what kind of paper and everything they're holding. They say it's all this really great, high grade paper. But there's nothing to prove that it is. Unless this whole 10 billion redemption thing is a joke, unless it's some kind of just show. That's quite a bit of redemption in just a couple of days. So, maybe it isn't as bad off as it seems, with Tether, but we're always guessing. We're always wondering because they're not being forthcoming. That's on them. They can sit there and they can scream and yell from the ceilings all they want about how how well capitalized they are and how your money is safe and everything. But at the end of the day, they aren't proving it. They don't prove it. Oh, we give our attestation report. You give a bunch of BS, man. You don't give anything that really tells us anything, right? You say, oh, well, we have so much in commercial paper, but we're not going to tell you what commercial paper we hold. It's really, quite silly, right? I mean, if you think about it, if their business really was being a stable coin, they would just hold dollars, right? I mean, you hold dollars and guess what? You don't have to worry about it, right? But no, they're going to hold paper. They're going to hold all this other stuff, right? Loans, all this other stuff. So you'd be right to think, well, what they're doing is they're using their position as a stable coin to just make money on loans and other things that they want to do. So, again, guys, when you trade, there's risks, right? And the risks aren't always just in the trade itself. It's in the platform you use. It's in the market you're in. It's in the things that you dabble in, right? So, I mean, you have to make sure that you understand that. So people get into trading and think it's just the only risk they have to consider is that particular trade that they're in. Crypto has shown us that there's a lot more risk out there, right, guys? So, anyway, yeah, so we've got that on there. Oh, man, what else do we have going on today with everything there, man? So we got Hayes, we've got, Puerto Rico, man. So some guys here in Congress are trying to come up with this Puerto Rico Statehood Act type thing. And basically what it says, if it passes Congress, then Puerto Ricans over there in Puerto Rico will get to vote on whether they want to be a state or not, basically. I mean, that's what it comes out. It's a statehood thing, right? Here's the thing, guys. If this passes Congress, which is the first thing it has to do, and then if they vote for statehood, if they're voted for statehood, guess what? The whole idea of a crypto paradise over there in Puerto Rico is no longer. So, we're going to see, a lot of people have moved over. A lot of stuff's going on. I know some of our members actually have moved to Puerto Rico. And so, there's a big ecosystem going on there with this whole, blockchain and development and all this kind of stuff. But, if that goes through, you can kind of kiss that all goodbye, right? Because now no longer will it be its own separate country with its own separate tax laws, which is what's bringing people there. It'll be part of the U.S. So U.S. tax laws. Good times, right? So, yeah. So, all that stuff kind of going on here. What a Coinbase, man. Coinbase just entered the Fortune 500 list at 437. It was the first cryptocurrency company to do so. So love them or hate them, guys, they are bringing crypto to the mainstream, right? And, it's something we've talked about day in and day out, man. It wasn't going to happen unless companies were adhering to U.S. regulations and doing those types of things, right? You need that regulation in there to make this a big thing so that you can bring in the big money so it becomes bigger. It's just this self-feeding thing. As much as people don't want that, but they want the increase. Well, you're not going to get the increases without the extra money coming in. You're not going to get the extra money coming in without that, right? So that's kind of where we're sitting with all that. Anyway, who's here already? We've got Carpio is here. What's up, man? You're headed to Austin. Perhaps you can provide a little bit of sunlight in these very dark, stormy clouds. Yeah, I think Austin's getting the worst of it right now anyway. We're not too bad out here in Bernie. So, is that D Zoso? You were the one talking about the Evergrande bonds. Yeah, I don't have a link for that. If you could share a link with me sometimes, man, I'd be glad to check it out. But I haven't seen anything, reputable sources or anything that say that they did have 35 billion tied up in Evergrande bonds. I can't say no, they don't. Obviously I don't know either way, but they said they didn't. And there isn't any, I don't have a reputable source right now that says that they do. So I don't know, man. I know there's been talk about that, just because this, especially with what's going on now, but it's just as likely that this big redemption with USDT could be, people fearful of something like Luna happening, right? I mean, that's possible. So we'll see about that. I'll keep my eyes out for that though, man, since you brought that up. Chance, what's up, buddy? You're in Austin next to I-35. Man, I-35, it never gets finished, does it? Claudio, what's going on, man? HJ, good to see ARM's here. Hangry Patrick, what's up, buddy? Data checking in. Let me see here. We'll talk about Bitcoin in a minute here. Let's see here. DeZoso says the legendary stablecoin wars have begun. Remember, this is the grandkids will ask. Oh, this is what they'll ask about. I think we will see Tether taken to the slaughterhouse as the sacrificial lamb through regulations. I don't know, man. They've already been through it. They've already gone through it. As long as they aren't lying about stuff right now, I think the worst is behind Tether. With this whole next few years of quarterly attestation reports and whatnot. I mean, unless they really screw themselves and just do something stupid, I think the worst is probably through it with them, We'll see what happens, but, they've already kind of gone through it and, got their slap on the wrist, basically, which is what I talked about with, what happened, because they're so big, right? They reach so far within crypto. So if you shut down USDT all of a sudden and they can't pay people and all this other stuff, I mean, all of a sudden, this court action results in a lot of people losing a lot of money. And, the government, the courts, they don't want to do that. Kind of weird to say that, right? The courts don't want to do that. But, that's really where it is. When you look at the SEC, you look at the Attorney General, stuff like that. I mean, they don't want to, because here's the thing. If they do that, let's say they did that to USDT, right? And say they just shut them down, and USDT, Tether couldn't pay off everybody. And so a lot of people lost all this money. Well, guess who? Even though it isn't the fault of, say, the SEC or the Attorney General or whoever it is that has to be after them, right? Even if it isn't their fault, because all they did was follow the law and shut them down, right? They will still be looked poorly upon by the populace, right? By the people. And that's not what they want, because these are all political positions, guys. These are all political positions. And so if you screw up, I say this screw up in that you cause your, the people who are basically making sure you have your positions that you have, where they're losing money like that. I mean, they'll get rid of you and you'll be out, right? So politics, man, is just such a thing, right? It's such a pain in the rear end kind of thing, right? DeZoso, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir. Marco, what's up, man? Steven, good to see you. Oscar says DXY down, stocks down. No one is safe. Well, everybody pulls back, guys. Remember? Everybody pulls back. And it doesn't always happen at the same time, right? So anyway, guys, hey, listen. You can jump on over here at howtotradetowin.com, all right? Jump in there. Go up to where it says join us. Go to tier 3. Go to annual. You can get 50% off right now, guys. We're doing 50% off for the tier 3 annual. It's absolutely crazy. It's so great. If it doesn't work for you, man, send me a DM over on Discord or a DM over in Twitter at TX West Capital, and we'll get that fixed. We might be having a little bit of an issue this morning, but we got a lot of people redeeming already. So this is awesome. Love to see you guys taking advantage of it. It's, best prices you're going to get all year long. So we're doing that right now. Kind of Memorial Day sale kind of thing going on. So, yeah, so make sure you guys are jumping in there doing it. Tier 3 is where it's at, man. All that education, well over 200 hours of video content and growing. 3 live streams every week. Mondays we talk about Wyckoff. Thursdays we talk about Elliott Wave, and Wednesdays we talk about tips, tricks, and techniques. So we look at indicators and strategies and rules-based strategies where even if you've never traded before in your life or successfully, you can pick up a rules-based strategy. And as long as you follow those rules, you should be good to go. Follow those rules, proper risk management. There you go, right? So we just, and we do this because, guys, listen, pretty much everybody else that you see out there is going to tell you, listen, you have to trade it this way, whatever way it is. The sad thing is most of them don't trade it very well that way anyway. But they found, hey, if they sound like they know what they're doing, they can get you to pay them money and they'll teach you, right? But the reality of it is, guys, we're all different. And for some people, things don't look the same as other people. Some people look at Elliott Wave and right away go, man, that makes sense. Yes, they just get it. Some of the Wyckoff, same thing, price action volume analysis, right? Other people, whatever it is. So what I'm here to do is to kind of show you the different ways to do these things correctly and help you kind of figure out which one makes most sense to you and to go with that. But at the end of the day, guys, listen, no matter what you're learning, it's like anything else in life. You have to practice, and practice correctly. If you can do that, you can learn what it is that you want to learn, okay? But as long as, most of traders just come in and they half-ass it, guys. They come in here, they don't really put a lot, they don't learn it properly, And then they do very little practice. They do it for like a day and a half. And they go, oh, look, it doesn't work. Well, of course it doesn't work, fool. You've never practiced it. It's not, just because you can go in there and you can open an account and you can trade, guys, doesn't mean that you know what you're doing to begin with. And it's nothing that you're going to learn overnight. It's like any other skill set out there. It takes time to do properly, okay? If you can accept that, if you can get that in your head, and then take risk management seriously and work through it there, man, you're going to be all right. You're going to make it a lot further than the 3 months that 95% of the new traders are out in, right? 95% of new traders out in the first 90 days, guys. They're done. Everything they put in is done. It's gone. Sometimes even more. A lot of times even more. But that's because they approach it wrong. Most of what you think when you first come into trading is absolutely incorrect, guys. Here to tell you that because that was the way it was for me too when I first started, okay? You've got to open your mind to humbling yourself, to understanding that you don't know what's going on. I still have people day in and day out talk about very complex matters such as macroeconomics and global finance, trying to tell everybody that they know what's going on when they've never even really studied. They have no clue. It is such a complex, interconnected thing. Sound bites, guys. Stay away from sound bites, all right? But anyway, you can do that there at howtotradetowin.com. We'd love to have you there. You don't need a coupon or anything. You can just log in. Like I said, just go up here, go to Join Us, click in there, go to Tier 3, go to Annual, and it'll show up on your, the discount will show up automatically on your checkout page, all right? We do accept crypto. I think Bitcoin may be one of the only things we accept anymore because Ethereum just got ridiculous to accept there. You know, the gas fees were so high. It was just stupid to accept that. I mean, it is what it is, right? Because we have to transfer it out of there to other wallets and pay all those fees. So, yeah, so that's where it is. Anyway, hey, join us there, guys. I'd love to have you there. Let me see here. Andrew, what's up, man? Yeah, man, 9 straight weeks of red. This is like a record for Bitcoin. I think it was originally like 6 was the record, right? And then we got 7, and we're kind of working it down there. So here's what we got. So I had this other account, right? And I had this count that said 1, 2, 1, 2, right? Well, guess what? We dropped below that this morning, so that got rid of that count. So this is one of the counts we're looking at. This has been that alternate that we've been talking about, right? The idea that maybe instead of wave 4 being over here, you know, that wave 3 is down here, wave 4 is over here, it's done a triangle, right? If that is correct, 24,681 here on Coinbase is the pattern target. Okay, it's the height of the widest part of the triangle here, subtracted from the wave E termination point. Okay, and notice it's just a bit lower here. And of course, if we continue to fall through there, look at the 22,000s and then look at the 20,000s area, right? And bigger, wider range there, kind of potentially catching that down, right? But guess what? This doesn't have to be it. Now, if it is, this is likely one wave down. See, I don't know, man. If I look at this, I go 1, 2, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3. Is this 4 and 5? But this looks like an ABC, right? So maybe this is 3. A, B, C is a 4. And we've got 5 probably coming down here around this demand structure, 50% area. So one of the targets we've talked about previously with Discord quite a bit. So we could potentially be seeing that. Let me see here. What we got? Yep, potentially right around that area, the top half of that structure there. So we may see that happening. Okay? You can notice here that we do have this large bullish divergence here on the 1 hour that led to this rally kind of thing going on here, right? So here's the thing. I'm going to show you a couple of different counts here, guys, but here's the key. See this wave 4 up here? Actually, I've got this on the wrong one. I've actually got it right here set more properly. But we'll look at this in a minute. But this wave 4 swing high right here, this triangle termination resistance level right here at 30,635 and 39 cents. If we break out above that before we drop down below the swing low here, so we can come back all the way down here. But if we break out above that, instead of breaking down here, that invalidates this wave 4 triangle. Because wave 5 never actually gets below where wave 3 is here, right? This is all wave 4. It starts down here. This would be wave A of the triangle, right? So that's our key level right there. If you want to be bullish, that's your key level there. If you break out above that, you're going up. Okay? Going up here. As long as we continue to head down below that, well, then we've got our target there and potentially lower down. Now, what else is potentially going on here? So here's another count that I gave Discord here. Okay? So again, still looks at this as a 1 and a 2, but instead of 1, 2, this becomes 1, 2 down here. Now, my issue with this, and what I told Discord is I'm concerned because this is within just a few dollars of this swing low here. So it's a valid wave 2, but it's so close to that swing low that, you know, we could just see it come on down here. All right? So if we do see that breakdown below this 28,605, that's going to invalidate this particular count right here. If instead, though, it continues to rally here and it breaks out above wave B at 36.35.39, that's going to add confidence to this count here. But that 36.35.39, that's this wave E of 4. That's your triangle resistance. So if we break out above what would be wave B here, that's also going to invalidate that wave 4 triangle, and we should look to go up higher. So that's kind of what we're looking at there. Now, the other possibility we have here is this count here. Kind of the same idea, wave 1, but instead of wave 2 being done here, it's a WXA, WX, oh my gosh, what did I do here? Oh, okay, there we go. It's WX, and then a WXY for Y here, okay? So WXY. And we may look to it coming down here around 27,815, maybe a little bit lower there. What this, again, suggests is that there's a W here, there's an X here, and then there's going to be a Y here. So Y is an ABC. So this could be A, this could be B, and we could get C down here toward this. And we could even get it lower down here, okay? But again, if we do this and it rallies up through this 36, 35, 39, that's still the key level. If we get up through that, that again makes this, adds confidence to this count. So even if we drop below this 28,605 low over here, which invalidates that other count, right? This count right here. Remember, if we drop down below wave 2 here, it invalidates this count, but it could still be seeing this count playing out. And I know you guys, you don't want to see this. You still don't, I know you don't want to see all the possibilities, right? It's difficult, right? It confuses you, it gives you a headache. But listen, guys, I'm not here to predict markets. I forecast, right? And so forecasting means understanding what may potentially happen, where those validation and invalidation levels are, and what they possibly mean. If I were to tell you, listen, the only thing possible right now is this right here, and something else happens, and you don't see me for a week, because you only check me out on Tuesdays and Fridays, right? And I'm not going to be here this Friday, right? So it's going to be a week before you see me again. If anything other than this continuing to go down here happens, and I haven't told you about these other possibilities here, guess what? You're screwed, right? I look like an idiot, right? Because I only told you that one thing could possibly happen. But it's not the only thing that could possibly happen. We're going sideways, guys. We've been going sideways here for, a couple of weeks now, right? So it behooves you to listen and pay attention and understand what may be happening. To understand that just because it breaks down here doesn't mean that this is necessarily what's happening. Now, until we break out above this swing high here, I think we give, our default thought to the idea that this is wave 4, we've got wave 5 still going. But keeping in mind this possible play here, if we break down below the swing low here. If we don't even break down below this, if this is the low here and it can pull back, but then it goes up and it goes up above that level, guess what? This other count that we have here is likely what's going on, right? So what are we watching? All you need to watch, guys, is 36, 35, 39 here on Coinbase. Watch for a breakout above. If you do that, the triangle's out. Watch for this one over here. This swing low here at 28,605. If we break down below that, the triangle, we're still watching the triangle as the primary, right? But we can't be surprised if price dips down below, catches a bid, and rallies back up. There is a lot of demand in these wicks, guys. So any of these wicks here, we can catch a bid and kick up. And then we want to see, does it get above that 36, 35, 39 level? While we're below that, we can default to down further. But if we break out above that, that triangle's out, guys. Okay? By the way, the other thing here is this WXY count here. This could still be wave 4 as well. Oh my God, I know, right? You're like, really? Yes, really. This wave 1 could be wave A. This WXY could be wave B. But guess what? We still have wave C up. And it's probably going to target this daily S1 pivot up here around 34,300, 34,400, around that area. But just because it pops up, that doesn't mean that wave 4 is definitely done. But if we continue breaking out above that level, continue up higher, then it's going to make it much more likely that that bottom's in there and we're heading up. But here's the best part about this, guys. You don't have to know which one it is. All you have to know is if we break up through here, that triangle's done and we're headed up for a bit. Go long toward this area. If you're in Discord with me, you guys know I'll be updating that count for you as it's going up there and letting you know, do we potentially have it as a wave 4 up there as an ABC with that wave 4, or is it the bottom really in there, right? But this is the great thing about trading, guys. You don't have to know exactly for sure what's going on. You can have a couple of different thoughts. If they're going in the same direction, that's fine. Take advantage of the direction while it's there. Does that make sense? Oscar, you must be late, man. We've got Memorial Day weekend this week here in the U.S. I'll be off for 4 days, Friday through Monday. I'll be back next Tuesday. Yeah, that's why. Let's see here. Andrew saying, is there a good 4-hour Bitcoin volume bump on the recent dip? Yeah, I mean, this is good volume here. So if we watch this, you have this right here. So importantly, look at this. You have this large 4-hour candle right here, right? This is why you guys are here, right? To learn. So pay attention. Getting this for free. See this large supply volume candle here? Opens up way here, closes almost at the lows way down here on that large spike of volume, right? Look what happens at the next one over. Slightly more volume, completely flips the script, demand in control, and then it continues up. Almost breaks out above the swing high. We come down here, look what happens again. Lesser volume, right? But same idea. Large supply spread candle right there. Large spike of volume relatively, right? Slightly more volume. Doesn't quite flip it completely demand and control, but becomes a doji, and then it rallies up to this previous area of resistance here, right? Look at where it hits. It hits this area. See the support? See the resistance? Support, support, resistance, support. You see how that works right there? That's where it did, and that's why it got rejected. And look what happens again. It breaks down just temporarily and rallies back up again on another large spike of volume. So supply is trying to send it down. Demand keeps showing up in this area. And it keeps showing up in significance. Not insignificant, in significance, right? This is important to pay attention to because this range has been playing out for a while here. There's still volatility coming in, which should make you cautious. If you have a range that develops and you've been in it for a while and you're getting, a long way into it and you've still got volume showing up, you got to be careful because that means supply is still trying to show up, which means there's a good chance this could end in distribution here, that this is distribution. But here's the kicker. That's just the one thing. That's just the general thing we look for. We look for, is volume dying off through the range or is it, remaining volatile? That's just a general way. If volume's dying off, usually that means accumulation. If it's volatile like this, it usually means distribution. But here's the thing. Not always. That's just the first thing. If it continues to be volatile here and demand just keeps showing up and eventually supply gives up. It figures the market is bullish. The market does not want to go down. And they're not going to keep selling into it, hoping that it goes down. So there has to be follow through. It can't just be what is the volume right there. There has to be follow through afterward. And we're not getting that yet. We're getting all these lows around the same area. And you can see right here from the beginning, you see how low it was down there? And then we dipped here and it was up a little bit more. And then it came down a little bit lower here, more volume. And then this one right here is on this area right here where it rallies up to this previous resistance there and pushes back a little bit and then continues up higher. Okay, fine. More volume comes in to try and send it down. Even more volume shows up to send it back up. And you have significant, but look at how that's starting to die off now. There could be something in this. So pay attention here. I don't see enough going on here to say it's definitely going down. We've got some ideas of where we could be looking at in terms of counts if it does, right? Potentially just a drop right here and a rally back up. Potentially move all the way down to a new low here, right? Finish out wave 5, triangle pattern, stuff like that, right? But there's absolutely nothing happening here at the moment that says it must absolutely go down. Because look at the very tops here. Look at how, so there's a little bit more volume here, but look, it's up here at the top. There's your volume, right? You get up here again, there's your volume. It pushes it down here, but demand's showing up. Look at all these wicks still, right? You're up here at the top, look at the volume. It's lesser than what you have here. It's lesser than what you have here, right? Get up to the top here again, a little bit of volume, but significantly less than what you're seeing down here at the lows. You don't have a huge bit of supply coming in here shoving price down. It comes in a little bit there to try to push it down. Immediately it's picked back up by demand. It looks like the range is just trying to remain for right now. So we want to be careful about that. So we've got our possibilities, our ideas of what may be going on here. But it's going to be this evaluation of it as it continues to develop, guys. Anybody else telling you otherwise is just either they really don't know what they're doing, or they do know and they're just trying to tell you what you want to hear, or maybe not what you want to hear. So that way, in either way, you're spending money with them, right? I don't have to do that. Here to tell you what it's really like, guys, to trade, okay? You can get involved in this on I wouldn't say to get involved in trading this on this larger time frame, 4 hour larger. I mean, you can get in on a smaller time frame, maybe get some of these smaller movements. But always keep your idea, your main thing here, your main focus is going to be, does it break out above this level right here, this 30,635 and 39 cents? Because if it does, then you're going to go up a little bit anyway, at least. Again, it could be that A, B, C for wave 4, right? It could still be that. But the other possibility being 1, 2 heading up, right? Or 1, 2, 1, 2 heading up. And guess what, guys? If this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 here, you're going to get a nice third of a third. Third of a third is a strong, strong wave. That's where you're going to see a lot of volume coming in and doing that up. So if you see it rallying up with strong volume, nice spike of volume, large candle spread going through there, we might be able to, that kind of gives us some confidence that maybe that's a third of a third. And then we'll look for a bit of a pullback and then finishing up to get, 5 of 3 and then pulling back for 4 and then up for 5, right? And so we could get that continuing up. Don't let people tell you that there's only one way things can go and that's all there is to it, and, all that other silliness that goes on in there, guys. Life's too short. Funds are too limited to play silly games like that when you're trading, right? Proper risk management and understand what you're looking for. Right now, is that breakout there or a breakdown over here? If it breaks down over here, then we're looking, do we get a breakdown below the swing low? That's really all it is, guys. Those 3 levels, that's really all you're watching. Okay? Let me see here. Excuse me. Let me see here. Who cares about weeks when you remember 6 straight months? Because Bitcoin's never dropped for 6 weeks or more in a row. That's why. That's who cares. because that's significant selling going on, significant continuance in a period of time, in a short period of time. Yeah, it's important to note. For sure, yeah. Let's see here. Andrew says, "What's going on, 83 Bennett? Good to see you, buddy." Or 83 Madden. I was gonna talk about Andrew Bennett there. He's got something there. He says, "I hear Guns N' Roses whistle playing in my head right now from Patience." That's a good song, man. 83 Madden. Could this be a potential bearish scenario with an impulse downside? 1 2 1 2 for an impulse to the downside. Yeah, so you mean like 1 2 1 2, I guess, right? Yeah, I mean, it's possible. Let's see here. You have to get the problem is this the kicker is this one right here. All this weird overlap makes it easier as an ABC. We tried to look at it as potentially 5 up. But remember, that was kind of all really, it's just really ugly trying to figure this count, because you get this move up and then this sideways and this move up and then this right here, right? So yeah, if you can get it, if you can get a 5 count out of that, it's possible. I'm just not so sure we can. It's such a tough 5 count to get out of this here. It's so much easier. It's potentially A, B, and then C here. Right? Because, I mean, with that, you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ending diagonal, right? And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, right? So, I mean, that ABC is so much simpler, right? With this right here, it looks to me much more clearly like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this one is the kicker right here. And so that could make this into this 5 up is A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 is a triangle 5 here. So this one, a little bit easier to potentially see both sides. This count is just really just ugly. Trying to get a 5 count out of that. That was the hard thing. Where do you kind of figure out this 5 count, right? I mean, maybe, let me see here. This would have to be your 3 here. This is your big move. That would have to be your 3. So it's longer than 5 here, which is fine. That means this can be larger. So maybe if you do like a 1, 2, and then a 3 with a flat as a 4, and then a 5. So that gets you 1, and then you've got a running flat for a 2 here. So A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe. But again, the issue that you might run into that is running flats are pretty rare. So you don't always, you don't usually want to default to that. But, if you could do that, you can get a 1, 2 here, and then a 1, 2 here, and then maybe a 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I mean, you can maybe get that 5 out of there, but it's questionable as to whether this is a running flat or not on that. So, again, it's kind of how do we count it? So, again, if you think this is 1, 2, and then maybe 1, A, B. Well, no, how would that have to be? 1, 2, 1, 2. See, the problem with this count, now I went through all that, but the problem with this count really is that this rallies above this swing high here. This looks pretty clear like an ABC, right? So if this is a 1, 2, 1, I'm sorry, God dog it. 1. Man, what are you saying? I'm sorry, man. Let me just check it. I'm confused now in a moment here. 1, 2, 1, 4, impulse to the downside. Okay. So this would, okay, so then you have to figure out where does wave 4 end if that's going to be it. And if this is going to be a 1, 2, 1, 2, I mean, what is this here? This is ABC, right? That's why I've got this WXY here. So ABC is W, ABC is X, ABC is Y, right? I mean, that to me seems most likely what that is right there. So I mean, even if you say, let's say you say this is an ABC here, right? And this is wave 4, and you go, okay, well here's 1 with maybe ABC is 2. And then I don't know, what do you get another flat here? But again, you still, that would still have to be 5 up. This would still need to be 5 down, but it's only 3. I don't know that you get a 1 2 1 2 in this area. I think if this is going to be a wave 4, I think and it's done. I think it's got to be a triangle. I think the other possibility again is that A, B, and C up here for 4 and then down. Looking at this, as you guys see, I'm struggling with this. How do you get 1 2 1 2 out of this right here? I don't think that you do. It's got to start here. And so even if you said, okay, maybe this is 1, let's say all the way down here, I don't know, maybe I don't know, it looks like 1 2 3 4 5 here, right? But I don't know, maybe you ignore that and you go 1 2 3 4 5, right? And then you go ABC, ABC, and then 5 up. Okay, you're still struggling, I think, to get those ABCs out of that. But again, that's your 1 2. But what happens here? This still has to be a 1, and it's only 3 waves down because this rallies up through, above that. So this is only 3 waves. And you don't want to sit there and scream, oh, well, you've got a flat here, and then you've got a leading diagonal here. Wave 1 of 1 2 3, right? You don't want to do that. So yeah, I don't know. I think 1 2 1 2 is really a struggle for that. Mark, have a great day, bud. What's going on, Diego? Good to see you there. So yeah, I think I think if it's going to be a 4, I think it's a triangle or A, B, and then we'll get a C up. I don't think 4 is done over in this area. I think it's just way too crazy. With Elliott Wave, usually, guys, it's your easiest count. You're one that's just really simple to get. That's usually correct. If you find that you're like forcing things and struggling to make things fit, usually that's going to be an incorrect count. So yeah. I think it could still be wave 4, but it's either going to be triangle done here and now it's down, or again the 5 up for an A, WXY for a B. And then we get 5 more for a C, I think, to do that, right? But yeah, I think that's kind of where I don't think we need descending triangle here. I think you're thinking like this, right? The base right here coming down. No, because we've got a regular symmetrical triangle already through here. A, B, C, D, E. Again, you still have to get this as an ABC here. And I'm just not so comfortable with that. I mean, I can assume that I've got this count wrong here. That's fine. We'll look at the bigger picture. But if I do, this has to be an ABC, right? And so that means the triangle ends over here. And we're headed down. But to me, this count, when you zoom in, it seems like it is what it is here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 here. But again, there's a lot of questions in this area here. Right? I mean, I'll throw one more at you guys. This could be 1 here, right? And then this could be A. And then this could be A, B, C, D, E for B. And this could be C. Right? So this could be a 1. This could be 2 over here. B is a triangle, big, large triangle. And C comes down. C finishes down here, right? And then that's 1, 2, and 3. I mean, there's so many ways to count this. This is why I'm telling you guys. I've shown you a few. I discussed them. But really, all you're worried about is, does it break out above 36, 35, 39? Does it break down below... right here at 28,605. That's really your first 2 things. If we break down below that swing low, big picture is, do we break down below the swing low here? Because if we don't, if we just break down below this level somewhere in this area here, and then we rally up through 36, 35, 39, that triangle is still invalidated. And now we have this we have 1, 2, 3, well, if it breaks down, you've got 2 different bullish counts, and you have the possibility that it's still that ABC for wave 4, right? So you don't have to worry about what that particular count may be locally in here. It's going sideways. I tell you guys, don't trade the sideways. Oh, but Chris, that means I can't trade this for a few weeks because it's been going sideways. Well, that's that's what it is, guys. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going in here trying to trade this, you're going to lose more money than you'll make most of the time. Because there's, as I'm showing you, there's so many possibilities of what could be going on. So you find something else to trade, guys. That's why, at Texas West Capital, that's why we, we talk about, stocks and currencies, FX market and stuff like that. Man, you can jump in the FX market anytime you want, guys. Anytime crypto's being a pain in the rear end and just going sideways, just jump in currencies, man. You've got a trend somewhere in there you can jump in. Gives you something to do, a way to make some money while you're waiting out crypto, right? Instead of just sitting there going, well, I'm going to be impatient in crypto because I don't want to sit around for 2 weeks on my thumb, right? I get that. But you got to be careful because that will cause you to take trades you shouldn't take. And you shouldn't be trading corrections, guys. Most people shouldn't be trading corrections. There's too many things that can go wrong. So find something else that you can trade to keep you going, to keep your mind sharp, to keep your mind occupied so you don't get bored. You don't trade out of boredom. Trading out of boredom is one of the biggest ways that you lose money as a trader. Because it's going sideways, it's boring you out. You want to do something, right? You want to make some money somehow. So you get in there and then you end up losing money. Okay, guys? So yeah. Well, I'm sorry if you don't like the chart that you're looking at for an hour. You haven't really been looking at it for an hour. You've been looking at it for maybe about 30, 35 minutes. Discussing the possibilities of what's going on here. Teaching you how to trade for free. If you don't get that, I don't mean to be rude, but you can move on. If you don't get that that's what's going on here, and you just want somebody to show you what's going on, where targets are and whatever, you're not going to get that from me. This is what I do. You can get it from all the other yahoos online. We're talking about serious traders here, guys. Okay? Again, I'm not saying that to be rude, but I'm saying it because it's kind of a ridiculous statement. It really is. Unless all you're looking for is buy and sell signals. Like I said, there's another bunch of yahoos online doing that. But if you want to understand what's going on here and why, and what your thought process may be, and what may be going on and why, then you pay attention. You get it, right? Again, this is not being rude. This is being upfront with you about this, right? This is being, what's the word I'm looking for here? We're not blowing clouds of puff up your rear end, right? It's being direct. That's what I'm saying. Being direct. So yeah, don't worry. We got other charts. We'll look at them here in a minute. Sure. But again, really, guys, there is so much to learn with this range right here. But it is. People get bored. They don't want to learn how to trade. It just all looks the same, and they don't care to make it look any different. They don't care to understand what may be going on and why. And the different things you could look for and why things may make sense or why they may not. Right? By the way, I say it wasn't an hour because it wasn't an hour. I was talking for, the first 25 minutes or so? From 11:10 until about 11:30 or so with all that news, Arthur Hayes, all that kind of stuff, Tether, all that. So, yeah. But anyway, so this is what we're kind of looking at here, guys, all right? That's why. A lot that you can learn from understanding the ranges and what may or may not be happening in there. Let me see here. I have Adrian, what's up, man? Good to see you checking in. Kimozabi, I see you there as well. Blaze, what's up, buddy? Can I share a monthly chart? I do have one. Let me see here. I guess you're looking for the big count, right? Oh, come on. There we go. Let's see here. Do we have it here? I might already have it up here. Let me see. No, it doesn't look like I have it. Okay, let's go and try and pull this up. See if this is the correct chart. This may not be the correct chart. This is an old chart. Okay. So this is what we were originally looking at, is maybe this was a wave 4 triangle here, remember? The way this looks now is that this would be a 3 here, okay? And then, let's get this out of here. And this would be a 4. As possibly a W, X, Y, okay? Because this looks like 3 down. Looks like 3 up. Looks like 3 down again. Again, may be complete or may not. And then that would give us then this, this wave 5 target up here. Minimum expected up here around the R4 pivot up here at around 127, 130,000. But remember, Bitcoin usually does more of this at the end, right? So we could definitely see a rally up. As a matter of fact, just trading pivots, if we were to rally back up impulsively above this area here, this orange kind of area here, most often just trading pivots, that means you're going to rally through the R5 pivot up and through that. So, again, could see a much bigger mark on there. But yeah, I mean, this would, be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 headed up, right? I do have another chart. Let me see if I can find my other chart. Be that one maybe? Nope, again, old chart. God dog it. Oh, let me see. Oh, wait, no, here it is. I just had it listed differently here. Okay. And so if we're looking at, okay, what may be going on here in terms of Wyckoff, again, potentially you had your distribution happen up here, right? Automatic reaction becomes your local selling climax, automatic rally, ST, secondary test, your thrust, comes back down into a potential spring. Notice the volume. This is the weekly chart here, by the way. Notice the volume on that, which is why it suggests that could be a spring. And then you've got this large lower tail here on this almost a hammer candle here. The other things I pointed out, guys, this drop down below and rally back up, close back above it, gives us a potential bullish swing failure pattern here, which if it is, we would expect to see price at least return to the top of the range, most likely break out higher. We can look at this as a descending wedge here, just a generic pattern. The breakdown below it would be what we know is a throw under. And usually that result, it'll pop up, it'll pull back, retest, and then it'll rally back up and through the wedge resistance, if that's correct there. But yeah, we can look for a breakout of this resistance here, this wedge resistance. It should coincide with the breakout of this descending resistance here on the weekly RSI. Weekly Stoke RSI here, basically bottomed out and oversold, starting to curl weekly, right? Usually when you leave big wicks like this, you have a retracement of 50 to 61.8% of that wick. You can see it right here, right? It came back down through it. Makes this one. Again, this one actually came down lower here, though. But it came into that wick, right? This wick pops up. It came down lower into it. But yeah, because there is demand in those wicks. So you usually expect to get like a push down into it. And depending on how demand shows up, that kind of determines whether it just bounces or rallies, right? But there's a lot of things on it. By the way, there's also, I don't have it on here, but there is the 200-week EMA, which this dipped down, hit, and rallied right back up off of. So there's a lot of reason to potentially say this may be a bottom here, but we do need to see some follow through and some rally up higher from here. So yeah. It is also, as you can see here, the S1 pivot on the weekly. What I've been talking about for ages here, if we couldn't break out impulsively above the weekly pivot, we would look for a return to the weekly S1 pivot. And then we'd see, can we get a rally off that and break out above that swing high right there now? That's what we're looking for. If we can do that, we're going to run the pivots. We're going to run through R5. We should. So yeah. Let me see here. Are there any scenarios where you see 100,000 Bitcoin with stocks? Oh, sure. Why not? Sure. I think everybody's too, caught up in this whole correlation thing. If you really look at it, Bitcoin doesn't correlate real perfectly with the stock market. It's like everything else, guys. I talked to you guys about how most traders, when they look at the charts, they occasionally say, oh, there's a news event and look what's happening with price. They don't do it all the time, just when it suits them, right? I think it's the same idea with correlation with stocks and Bitcoin or cryptos. You guys have to understand, legacy markets, the crypto market, the dollar, these are all moving in relation to ideas of risk off or risk off with the players in that market. The Bitcoin thing it has going with it is everybody thinks they're going to become a millionaire overnight still. And so stocks, recently, in the last few years, it's acted a lot more crazy than it ever does, a lot larger swings than it usually has, right? But in general, stocks, people are going to be more conservative with them in general, right? But Bitcoin's this other thing, right? It's this thing that's still kind of new. People are just learning about it. People know about stocks. Even if they don't trade it, they know about stocks, right? They know about the stock market. They hear about it all the time. They may not understand what's going on, but they know about it, right? People are still just learning about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. People out there still don't know. Guys, you're going to be surprised how many people don't even know what cryptocurrency is or that it even exists. There's a lot of people out there that still don't. So the market is young. So while things are maybe becoming much more risk off in legacy markets, and the dollar is showing that, right? People will potentially stick around a bit longer in the crypto market because it is newer, because they still think they're going to become millionaires overnight. Even within the crypto market, it's different, right? Again, guys, remember, if we look back at 2017, I've talked to you about this before, right? So December, right? Mid-December is when, of 2017 is when Bitcoin topped out, right? Alts didn't top out until almost a month later. First, second week of January is when alts did it. So alts are riskier. They're seen as making you a millionaire faster than Bitcoin, right? So people, even though Bitcoin topped out, they still were putting money into alts. So if you understand that, then you can understand that people might take money out of stocks and still be putting more money into crypto. Okay, so if you need a narrative, there's your narrative, right? If you understand alts versus Bitcoin, then you understand Bitcoin versus legacy market. Does that make sense? Let me see here. I brought up a great point about the 200 EMA. Last time we hit it, March 20th, we ended up hitting the R5 on the weekly pivot. Yeah. Yeah, again, guys, remember, I used to be a pivots trader for a couple years. That's all I traded. It was just pivots. So there's a lot of, when I look at this as a pivots trader, when we had this here, that's why I was telling you, we needed an impulsive breakout to carry us above this right here. If we got that, we would most likely run the pivots. If we got rejected at the pivot, I said, we would test the S1 pivot. And that's the key there. Once we do that, we need to see, do we get an impulsive breakout above whatever that swing high is going to be by that weekly pivot? Because if we do, if we impulsively break out above that, we should generally expect to run all the pivots. This is just pivot trading. This is not price action volume. This isn't Elliott wave, anything like that. This is just trading pivots. This is things that I picked up, doing it for a couple years. Just trading. That was it. That's all I used. And so there are a lot of these things that come up. There's a lot of stuff I teach our members over at in Tier 3 over there at TWC that has to do with pivots trading. Just, again, things that I learned from doing it for so long, just concentrating on it. So, yeah. But, yeah, again, it's the S1 pivot and it's the 200 EMA that comes up through there as well. I can't throw it on here because it's the Coinbase chart and it only goes back to like 2016, 2015 right here, right? So the 200 EMA doesn't show up so great as a weekly on here. But, yeah, if you take the BLX chart, it comes right up through there. And it finds one that rallied right back up there. So now we see, that's the first part of it. The question is, do we get follow through now? That's what we're looking for. So, yeah. What do I think about the channel between the top of July 19th, March 20th low, and the February 21st top? July 19th of what year? Of 2019? So you're using days. Let me jump to the daily chart here. What is your July? July 19th. Where is that? I'm not sure I'm following you here. July 19th, March 20th low. Or do you mean July 19 low? I don't know. Okay, July 2019. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so now I know what we're talking about. Now we're talking about over here. Right? Or were you talking about July 2019? Are you talking about this June 2019 swing high? Okay. So you're talking about this right here, I guess. Because this is June 2019 up here. Yeah, okay. All right. So my first thought on this, that's a I think I've printed it. Actually, I think I've talked about this before. It's an amazing 4 touches here. Top, bottom. Yeah, so I've discussed this before. I might even have posted it there on Twitter, I think, with the chart. Now, my first thought about that is, because we're ascending, usually we take the channel from the lows. So we wouldn't usually start it up here. We would start it down here. And so that would say we've got 1, 2, 3 touches, 3 alternating touches, which is, usually indicates that channel is legitimate, right? But I did show that we did have these tops here because it just lines up so perfectly. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful channel there. I would love to see it work from here back up. You can see that R5 pivot is right around the EQ, right? This is the daily, right? It's right around that EQ. If we switch that to the weekly, look what happens. The top of this channel is up here right above the R5 pivot, right? I mean, depending on how long that takes to get up there. But this right here is already August, mid-August, right? So the idea that we could finish up there with a 5th wave, or one, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4, get our 5th wave up here. Sure. I mean, it fits perfectly with the idea that we're going to head up that way. So yeah. The median line, I like it. Here's why I like the median line. Look at this. Let me show you something. Go ahead and pull this all the way back, right? Look how this works right here. As this resistance, support right here, resistance right here, resistance, support. Even though it puts that over, you see how it sits there, works as support there? Resistance right here. And then, especially if you're looking over here toward the end, and this will be a little bit different because of the way you pull it, but basically, I mean, even though it dips below it, it's still working as support right through here. And it's only this sideways that finally sends it through. You got sideways on here. If you count the dip here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of this sideways before it finally drops down through it. So, I mean, yeah, I like the EQ here as well. There's a little dips above and below, but this is a very large time frame, so you should expect that. But it works generally as a great area of support and resistance, generally along the way. So yeah, I wouldn't be too upset about that, honestly. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me check here real quick. Let me see here. Let's jump through some charts here real quick. All right. We have the dollar here, right? The DXY chart. We're trying to find support around the daily pivot. This is the 1 hour. You can see that we've got bullish divergence building, over and over again here, while we're getting some bearish divergence as well. And that's usually what happens as when you're doing like an ending diagonal, you're going to see like bullish divergence, bearish divergence, bullish divergence, bearish divergence as it goes till it completes. So we may be finishing an end here. If we are, I think this is A, and then we should have B rallying back up here toward maybe this 103.3 kind of area, right there below the 1 hour pivot right now. And so, that would kind of coincide with risk off on the market. I'm sorry, risk on in the market, right? This is risk off as this rallies. Let me think again. Risk off as it rallies up. So yeah, risk off is right. This would be risk on, right? As the dollar kind of pulls back, that means people are taking their money out of the dollar and putting it elsewhere. Usually it's legacy or something like that. But right now things are very, very choppy with everything. People are finally starting to get a bit concerned about maybe the top might be in the stock market, maybe. But you still got people buying up a lot more than they should be right now. Let me see here. So looking for a potential reversal coming pretty soon here to get some dollar up here. By the way, I only have this as wave 3, so we're working on ABC of wave 4. And then, we'd look for wave 5 ending up higher here. Gosh, probably up here around 108, maybe 109, something like that. If we look at the NASDAQ composite here, we had this huge gap down this morning. So I'm looking at the possibility that maybe we've got this here. If we come off the top here, right? So we got this big 1-2 off the all-time high up here in November of last year. So 1-2, and then locally here we get a 1-2, 1-2, and then this might be a flat correction right here is what it's looking like. So what we're looking for is a breakdown below 11.035 and 69 right there. If we can break down below that, it should say that wave 3 is in progress down here toward a minimum expected target of 10.478.05. Let's see here. If we look here real quick at S&P E-minis, same kind of idea locally, right? So again, look at we got this 1-2 and then this 1 and a flat as a 2. So we're looking for this breakdown below 38.0750. Gives us a minimum expected wave 3 down here at 35.96.5. And then, of course, Dow Jones should be following in more or less with it. But remember, the NASDAQ is very tech-heavy. The S&P is kind of tech-heavy, but still has a little bit more of other things in it. And then the Dow is much more broad-based, right? So with the Dow, I'm looking at this as potentially a leading diagonal for a 1 here. And then an A and a B. And then we'll get a C up maybe to this wave 4 resistance, maybe the 50% retracement at 32.974. Though, actually we could see it potentially get all the way up here to the daily pivot 33.801, but that daily pivot's only going to be valid through the beginning of next week, and the market's going to be closed on Monday. It's not really going to do much of anything on Friday. People are going to take off early, get that 4-day weekend, right? Your big traders. So for all intents and purposes, you've got trading through Thursday, and then next Tuesday, is the 31st, right? See, I can't get my calendar show up. There it is. Yeah, next 31st. And then so by end of day next Tuesday, you're going to have new daily pivots. So, is that really where it's going to head? I don't know, but we're going to see if we can get up there. Now, the other possibility is maybe wave 5 is still in progress. Maybe this is ABC is a W and then an X, and then maybe we'll get a Y down here. But if that's the case, then if this is the leading diagonal and this is correct, then as we look down here, see how that 100% is right there at that 29.811? If this is WXY for finishing wave 5, it can't go lower than 29.81140. If it does, wave 3 becomes the shortest because wave 1 is longer. So wave 1 would be longer and wave 5 would be longer. Wave 3 can't ever be the shortest. So if we did that, we'd have to check the count, see what else is going on with that. But overall, nonetheless, it seems like stocks basically, or at least the indexes, maybe going to head down further, unless these wave 2, flat corrections aren't actually flat corrections. Maybe it's part of a larger wave 2 correction, right? Let me see here. Jump into oil real quick here, guys. As I continue to tell you, oil is like that canary in the coal mine, right? So if you want to know how well is the U.S. economy doing, look and see how well is oil doing, right? Oil will usually fall off, and that will indicate that the economy's kind of fallen off, right? So remember, we have the all-time high WTI here, oil, at 147.27 cents back on July 11th, 2008. That was right before that was right there at that great financial crisis, right? This time we got up there to around 130 and a half. And I think that was 1, and I think we finished a flat correction for 2. Locally, it looks like we've got 5 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe A, B, C up here at the 70.5 retracement right here at this supply structure. And we're falling off here. And so what we're looking for is a breakdown below wave B here at 108.13. If we can get that, that's going to add confidence to the count and say that wave circle 3 is likely in progress toward a minimum expected target of 92.04. If the top is in, guys, oil is probably going to reach down into the 30s, I think, to finish off the pullback. But remember, that's a big pull. Remember, it's gone up for 2 years, right? Since May of 2020, right? When you had that negative closure. Never has it ever closed negative. It closed, it had gotten down all the way down to like negative 42. People were paying people $42, each to take that oil, right? And so we've gone up since then. We've gone up for 2 years, guys. We're going to have a good pullback. And so that should be it. I think we should take us down toward that area. So we'll just make sure that we're doing this locally, continuing to head down as we do that. Let's see here. Let's see. Nat gas. Nat gas is iffy at the moment. I've got it potentially topped out over here back on earlier this month, around May 6th or so. But you can see, we got right up to that invalidation level. Now, it's possible this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to see this kind of break down. We need it to get down here below wave parentheses X support at 7.663. If we can do that, that means that wave 3 is likely in progress, headed lower down here toward 4.375. But if we break out higher, well, that means that the count is invalidated. That may say that wave 4 is playing a flat here, and then this is wave 5 headed up, and we're heading up toward, $9.50, $10 nat gas. But if this isn't the top, then the top should be pretty near on that right there. Let's see here. Silver. Oh, it looks like we broke out right above here. Let me see. 22,215. 22,205. Yeah. So we've got a new high here. So what I tell Discord is if we got that, then this may be an A, a B, and then this may be C as like an ending diagonal here. So we could be seeing it come up here, reach up here a bit higher, potentially toward this high volume node at about 2240, right there at about the 70.5 retracement. We're going to look for a breakdown through the 1 hour pivot. Will be the first real clue that wave 2 may be complete. Breaking down below 21.25 should add confidence to the count and say that wave 3 is in progress lower. So if silver's doing that, gold's probably similar. And so here we go with gold. I said if we broke out above wave 2 here, we'd be looking for this target area between the 70.5 and the 78.6. So that's what we're looking at, maybe at the channel resistance. So the first thing we want to see is a breakdown through the channel support here is going to hint that wave 2 may be complete. Falling down through channel support and this 1 hour pivot is going to be the first real clue that it has. Notice the weekly pivot's just a little bit below that 1 hour pivot there. And breaking down below 1805 is going to add confidence to the count and suggest that wave 3 is in progress lower there. Let me see here. Home builders, we talked about this last week. You can see that we've continued to drop off. This is the monthly chart. This is your new home builders, right? So they are falling off. We've got 5 waves up, and then wave 2 has a minimal, an initial target down here, the 50% retracement, which happens to be the EQ of this monthly demand structure, right around 26.25. So that's where I'm looking for it to get. Now we're going to get 5 down. We're going to rally up 3, and then we're going to have 5 more lower. Again, A, B, C. We should to finish that out. I told you to watch Bud because, again, even if we get into a depression, a recession, something like that, alcohol tends to do pretty all right because people, they want to drown their sorrows, right? Everybody wants to get drunk. Everybody's upset, losing jobs, losing houses, stuff like that to go drink, right? So, again, looking at this continuing, potentially head down here, 50% retracement at 50.94. That's the initial target for wave 2. Though we could see it drop all the way down to this weekly demand structure down here at you can see the EQs right there on the weekly S2 pivot, right around the 78.6 retracement. So what am I looking for? What I'm looking for is a breakout above this descending resistance. That will hint that wave 2 is complete. And then breaking up through the weekly pivot here, up through wave B resistance at 67.91. That's going to add confidence to the count and say that wave 3 is in progress to a minimum of 125. So yeah. That's what I've got going on there. TRX USDT. Possibly a triangle. I just so happen to have this one sitting here, right? I'm not sure that I'm really happy with the triangle, but possibly a triangle we've got going on here. And that would give us a pattern target based on the height of the triangle up there at 0.24338. Again, looking at this off the lows here is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gives us 3, 4, or 4 here is A, B, C, D, E maybe. A breakout above wave D is going to be the first clue. It's right there at the R3 pivot on the daily at, what is that? 0.09279. Once it breaks out above wave B up here at 0.12933, that's going to confirm that the triangle is complete and headed up again toward minimum expected target is that pattern target, which is actually almost 300% from that wave E low there. So yeah, we got that there. Let me see here. Can I do Apple or something major? Well, Bud's pretty major. I did that. Home builders, all right? Let me see here. Apple. I haven't done Apple in a bit, I don't think. Let me see if I've got something already set up from a while ago and just work with that. Oh, end of last month. What do we have up here? Oh yeah, look at that. So since I drew this, we've broken down impulsively through this local descending channel and this kind of descending channel supports there. So, man, oh man. Yeah, that's already dropped down there. Let me see what we got here. The daily, we've still got room to potentially fall further to get into oversold there on the RSI. Let me see up off this top here. And it looks like just an ABC there. ABC, ABC. But they shouldn't be because they're not going to have this large drop down here. It's not going to be like A, B, C way down here. Yeah, it's not going to be that. So probably an ending diagonal here. Maybe in this area. But this gives us, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So potentially could be 1, A, B, C is 2, 3. No, it's going to have to, if this is going to be a diagonal, it's got to be zigzags. Okay, yeah, so here's what we have. We've got A, B, C as 1. 2, ABC is 3, 4, ABC, 4, ABC is 5. So that gives us a leading diagonal right there. Let's see here. Let me zoom out to the weekly here real quick. Weekly still has further to go. We found that weekly S1 pivot though on that. It looks like maybe just 3 waves down here on the weekly anyway. So all right. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, we should be looking for a little bit further down, right? Trying to get this next one up. There's a lot of overlap in this. Yeah, I think we might head lower here toward this 126 area on that. See your 4 hours topping out up here, trying to cross bearishly, getting rejected around that 4-hour pivot. Heck, this might even be a 1-2-1-2. But yeah, we'll see if we can drop through this swing low here. I'll be looking for it down there around 126.33. Secondary target down here 113.80. Yeah, I don't think it's done. I mean, we've dropped through this. Look here, look left, guys. You see this area right here? I guess we can probably push it up there. I like it right there. I mean, we've kind of dropped through that and came back up, but we pierced that support. I would not be surprised to see this continuing lower after that. As we watch that. Yeah. So, yeah. Let me see here. I can get ready to go here in a minute, guys. Hex USDC. Oh yeah, that thing just died off after the last time we looked at it. We were looking at the possibility of a 1-2 and coming up there, but it just died off. So, no follow through at all. So it just continues that downtrend there. Let me zoom out here a little bit. But it looks like it may be nearing an end here. You see right here where we're at this swing low? You see you've got this little dip here into this area. Let me show you something. So we've got this area here. Resistance, sideways, support, right in here. So one of two things will happen. It'll drop through, and then it'll rally back up, get rejected, head lower, or it'll find support here and bounce up. I mean, that's just the big picture look at it. We got here as far as this channel goes. I like the EQ on this channel. It works real well as support and resistance here. Notice how just a little bit over the next few days, kind of like this resistance area here, this area right there kind of coincides with the bottom of this. So I would look for a rally back up. If you can get an impulsive breakout above that EQ, which means spike of volume, larger candle spreads to that EQ, your target becomes the channel resistance. If you can get another impulsive breakout above that channel resistance, you can get a pattern target of 0.2616, well, probably less than that here. Depending on how long it takes to get over here, maybe about 40 to 43 cents above that point of breakout as the target. But that's what I'd be looking for. I like this area right here. I like that we have that support resistance level that we're coming up to. The daily is all, is it dropped down in there? It's almost dropped down and oversold there. Right now, you've got some bullish divergence kind of going on. You got lower lows here. You've got higher lows over here, but barely for the daily right now. You want to see if that bullish divergence can hold up there. Let me see locally. You've got this channel right here. Oops. You see prices kind of finding some, it kind of hit that area there. So, I mean, again, impulsive breakout above that larger channel EQ there will be an impulsive breakout above this channel. It should give you a target of that descending channel resistance. Breakout above there gives you about a 43 cent target on that. Let's zoom into the closer time frame. Oh, yeah, look. 4 hours remaining oversold here. You got a lot of volume coming up in this area. So usually that indicates some sort of sideways or a bottom through here. You kind of did it here. You had more volume there, kind of did sideways, and then it broke down again, but even greater volume there. Oversold in Stochh RSI. You've got this bullish divergence building up here on the 1 hour. It's reading down through here. Look at all this volume that came up on the low here. And then you had a good bit of volume that came in at that high through this area right here, this kind of support resistance area right here. That's where you got hit there. Let me see if I can do this. Kind of that area right there. See how we got rejected here, got rejected here, got rejected here. Now, the one thing to note is that we are kind of pushing up higher and higher into it each time, which means you're taking out the supply that's in there. But all this volume is picking up down here in this whole kind of area right here between the S1 and between the hourly pivot and the hourly S1 pivot. You got volume coming in at the tops and the bottoms along here as it is. So supply is trying to push down. Demand is starting to show up. We'll see if demand can overcome it and head up. So yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It is late. I am late. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, a fantastic weekend. If you're in the U.S., have a great Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget, guys, you can join us over there at howtotradetowin.com. All right here. Like I said, just going to join us, go to Tier 3, go to Annual, and you can find then the, what you call it? Oh, man, the half off, man. Half off Memorial Day sale we're doing for that. You can also go to the 1 month, and you can get 7 days access to Tier 3 for $13. And then if you want to remain a member after that, we're going to give you a half off the first month. So, you can get the first month for half off as well. As I explained to you, though, if you do that, and you don't want to stick around after the 7 days, just make sure you go and turn off auto renew in your account. Don't hit cancel. It'll cancel immediately. Turn off the auto renew, okay? And that way it won't automatically charge you at the end of your time. And then when your 7 days are up, you can go cancel it, and then you're set there. So, yeah, there you go, guys. As always, remember, the only thing you control in the market is how much you lose. So please keep working on the risk management, okay, guys? Y'all have a fantastic week. Trade safe. I'll see you all next Tuesday. Unless you're in Discord, of course, I'll see you guys here in just a bit. Take care.